First 2-round event of the year. Today, I wasn't anticipating playing this event. I was gonna be in Waco and Austin and ended up not going to those because I wanted to go to South instead, save a little money and kind of plan to go to Europe later in the year if everything kind of goes to plan. And so this is the St. Patty's Classic, which is a very alternate layout here at Edora Park in Fort Collins, about an hour north of me. I'm playing it completely blind because I got off the wait list at like 3 p.m. yesterday. So we'll do a quick bag check. I'm planning to play well. I mean, I feel like my game's been better. I've been doing a lot of putting practice. Rigged up my cart, shout out Bag Boy. He sent me out their Pro Cart, which will have a review coming on Banana Frost soon. And it has a spot for a cooler, which is kind of neat. I don't have it in because it was a little loud. I played a flex start with it and it's really cool for like casual stuff, but it's like mid 40s today. So pretty cold for what I expected. And we're gonna rig this camera up on here and get a lot of the shots from today and kind of vlog the whole 2-day experience because it's 2 rounds over 2 days. And I am hoping to at least cash, but I definitely think I have an opportunity to play well enough to take it down. Joe Revere is going to be here, kind of the local Colorado legend. I think 3-time, maybe 4-time reigning Masters World Champion. And Joel Freeman is going to be here playing. So a good competition. I think I'm the 9th highest rated out of 40 people. So it's going to be a good field. And the course is pretty safari. So I may have only played 5 or 6 holes. A lot of short par 4s. So keep it in bounds and make putts. That's the name of the game today. Not really shooting for a score, but I think I can shoot well. We'll just see. Time to warm up and get things started. That was a questionable disc. Oh, we almost hit each other. That would have been cool. Okay, about all my discs. Pick them up, talk about them. Shots are feeling clean. My hips are just a little tight, so I'll just keep working on warming them up. That's probably all I need to do, just some isos, some putts. Throws feel all right. All right, so we got PA3s, just gonna warm up with them. Honestly brought these 2 extra out to warm up, but they're a little newer. I have 1 team stamped one and 1 banana butt one in the bag. Mostly just put with the team stamped one. Been making a lot of birdies with it, so probably just keep it rolling. Don't need more than 2 in the bag, so I'll probably put these back in the car. I will keep this Midnight Prow 1 in the bag for that flippy mid, because I don't have anything flippy slower than a 9-speed. I have a 2nd Sphinx and a 2nd G-Blend Emperor Halo that are not gonna be in the bag, but quick organization. We have Eagle McMahon Streamline Range, Bullet, from Mintis, that nocturnal one, and an Envy. I also have 2 chicanes. I have this forged one, which is much straighter than this composite one, which is a little overstable, so it kind of flex or just needs something to finish harder, right? Got a little glide to it too, so it kind of swings decently, even up here at elevation. This one's much more just straight with a touch of fade, so I like having them both in the bag for now. The Sector from Finish Line, that's gonna be my 2nd Finish Line disc today. It's kind of a little straighter than a Buzz. It just holds really straight with a little fade, and it doesn't flip as much. So I've been liking this, and this plastic is just so good, so I had to throw that in, alongside of my Mint Discs Nocturnal Bobcat for my overstable. I have 2 Sphinxes, just in case, because I don't know what this course is. My last year's Sphinx and my this year's Sphinx. This is the run from the Texas swing, but the stamp is in production. It's a little stiffer, a little more overstable. This one's pretty started here, flip it to flat. This one's kind of more started here, flip it to flat. So kind of conflicts with my Era slot as well as a really flippy Roman. So right now I only have these as well as a Roman for my 10-speed and my like fairway drivers. Kind of control, a little flex, fade, really good. Speaking of kind of straight 9-speeds, I have a Scepter, which is pretty straight, and a Cap Wrap, which is very overstable. So hold pushing hyzers or slight flexes, lots of flex, lots of overstability, keep stuff in balance. It's the name of the game today. And then for drivers, I have a Halo G-Blend Pharaoh, which is on my site with Infinite, bunch of stuff on the site. But I have this Halo G-Blend Pharaoh. I have my S-Blend Emperor Garrett Girthy, super straight, but I'll probably lean on this and this a lot. This is gonna be my overstable but bomber Emperor, so kind of Anheuser, which will glide on it for a while and then fade. And then this is my super overstable Emperor, Halo C-Blend, just regular stock S-Blend. I ordered more of these for my bag because they're so good. And that's the bag for today. Get on to putting. I'll probably bring all 4 putters and just use the 2 of them that I know and love.
When it comes to PDJ Live, those notes are super accurate. I went through them 4 times. I'm like putting every OB that could possibly happen on there. I think that's about it.
Starting out round 1, I had no idea what this course is going to be, but everyone told me that hole 1 was the hardest hole. I ranged the tennis courts since I was about 360 feet, so I knew if I threw a pretty committed forehand right at the tennis courts, it would likely fade in front of him and get me to the right, which is the position that I want for birdie. So I aimed at that tree.
Aiming right at that tree, let's go.
Guess I hit my aim point. You're not going to be able to see the basket super well, but it's in between the 2 trees behind the tennis courts way back there. My depth perception is actually a little bit off, but I had a pretty tight gap that I decided to throw my Roman through instead of like a Scepter or an overstable 9-speed. I thought I threw it perfect, and we saw that kick off the tree and thought it went straight into the water. Luckily, somehow it landed right there, and I was inbounds, so I'm throwing my third, trying to get up and down for a par. And I threw a forward chicane, just pulled it a little out of the hand.
I'm fine with that. A little fast shot, but I think I can make that putt.
So I'm probably right at the edge of the circle, have to straddle out, but I feel confident in my putting going into this tournament. Right on line, just a little low, and it actually rolls out to a nice comfortable 15-footer, so I have to kind of make that maybe a little closer, but I like having one of those to start the round. It was a little shaky, honestly, but 1 over par. There were 0 birdies on that hole the entire tournament. Don't worry, I'm not really spoiling that much for the next round. Hole 2 is a 540-foot par 4. I could try to get over the road, which is about 460-foot carry, but instead I just decided to throw my MB because I was able to look at the caddy book and saw that there's a lot of short par 4s here, so I assumed I'd be throwing putters a lot. We'll see if that ends up being the case, but I wanted to just warm up that straight putter shot. Left me with a cap wrap in, which I give a little bit of extra flex to. Unfortunately, the cap wrap that I reviewed with the Discraft stuff.
Am I out? I was getting like 36.
I'll finish that later.
Yeah, if you get 36, yeah.
The cap wrap that I had reviewed when Discraft sent me the Ricky putter and stuff, I lost it in a field. So I love that disc. Can't wait to get some more. Discraft, if you're somehow watching this, please send me more cap wraps. Those things are so good, and they're not out yet. From 36, I really debated stepping it or just walking it in, but I really liked the standstill.
Forgot to turn on for this hole so far. Threw perfect shot here, perfect shot there, super straight. Maybe 15-foot putt long.
But he's still feeling confident, and that's a pretty good sign. Hole 4 is 295 feet. Apparently they moved this up from a little bit of a cooler position, but I'm actually pretty happy because I get to throw my Nocturnal Bobcat, that new mint disc I put in the bag, and I really like the shot. Didn't exactly know where it was, but ended up being right here, and me and Isaac both thought we were up because we were just about exactly the same distance from the basket.
I think we both thought it was not so bad.
Yeah.
So, hole 5, 540 feet, way out to the left. I'm kind of ranging a bunch of stuff. And unfortunately, right before this hole, I go to really tighten my shoes down. And you've seen me wear these Vessies for over 100 videos. I train in them every day. I wear them all the time. And I overcranked and ripped an eyelet. So we'll see what that's like in a second. That definitely didn't get too much in my head. As you can see me turn this disc to Narnia.
Two-step bomb.
I was not gonna lie, I was a little worried about how my shoes were holding up.
There is OB right that I almost found. I was on a fence, and this 540-foot hole, I'm 320 feet away with my Scepter after throwing a 450-plus foot shot.
So, bad news. Every shoe has a shelf life. My Vessies, I ripped through an eyelet because I tie them so tight. And I ripped through an eyelet trying to tighten them, even more than they already were tight. Unnecessary. So, I just had to retie them like this. And at least it worked for that plant. And I think I threw actually a really good shot from back there. It was 315 out. But I was up against the fence line over there. Way long. So I'm glad I threw it well, but I was really nervous about my back foot slipping. And so that got in my head, and I ended up throwing a really bad shot. This is OB. Our basket is literally 315 feet that way. It's a 492-foot par 4. I think I still got close to getting up and down. Hopefully it doesn't get in my head. I mean, it feels good actually, so keep pushing.
All right. Fortunately, that didn't get in my head, but there was something else that I did that was kind of stupid that we'll talk about in a second. That has me my hat off and me a little bit trying to calm down before I make this putt. Which luckily I'm able to do. I almost push it out right.
Don't actually hate that play, though.
That was crazy. I hate that play.
Well,
That was the worst shot in the world.
Just not that far.
So what ended up happening is my buddy Isaac lost a disc in a tree, and I climbed up to get it, as well as his water bottle, which he threw trying to get it down. And so my heart rate was a little over elevated. I ended up early extending through my hips on this shot, and it's something I noticed on the next couple of holes, but not the most ideal thing to have done before playing a bunch of holes in a tournament. So my heart rate's still kind of going. I'm deciding where I want to step this from 40 feet since I hit this tree. And I just never open my hands, and I leave myself a 20-foot comebacker.
take off the visor, but make them back.
Luckily able to convert.
It's like climbed a tree to get this disc out. For my friend here, Isaac. Get a disc and water bottle. Got stuck. And my heart is still going. I was glad the basket caught that last putt. Because I pushed it a little. Then that first one there, my heart rate, I realized after I made that, or took that straddle, one, my wrist didn't fire. I was going so fast, didn't even realize. I didn't have time to slow down my arm. So now I'm just, I did some box breathing, 4 seconds out, 4 second pause, 4 seconds in, 4 second pause. And I'm trying to just calm down my heart rate.
Hole 7, still trying to calm myself down. 520 foot par 4. This hole is the one that I really did not know how it looked. I thought if you get right to the left of those trees, you have a pretty open up shot. Unfortunately, once again, I early extend, which causes me to push that disc out to the left, and I have to kind of straddle around. And I'm now noticing that really those pine trees in front of me, way up there, you want to be around them, and there's actually a decent amount of space that's still in bounds. So I end up throwing this chicane, pretty perfect shot, right into a good landing zone. I have my mid disc bullet, which I probably should have thrown on a couple more shots already, or later in this tournament. That's not foreshadowing at all. I don't know why I just said that. And I put it close to the basket here and have a putt from about 20 feet to save the par. Luckily, the putt's still feeling pretty good. Hole 8's 270 feet up the hill. And I think this is one of my worst disc choices of the event. I throw my most overstable Emperor. It's a Halo Seablin Emperor. And I just wanted to climb the hill and get right. But if you're throwing uphill, it's going to be moving right anyways. Maybe not super right, but that overstable going up a hill is not really the best idea. You probably want to throw a little straighter because the uphill is going to cause it to be a little more overstable. So I pitch up pretty close to the basket. Was kind of giving it a half run. Didn't really know if I could because of the hyzer angle. End up being able to save the par. And we move on to hole 9, a 400-foot par 3, where I threw a Roman, where I definitely should have thrown a slightly flippier disc. There was a little more wind, which caused that disc to flare pretty good. And I have a simple little up shot from way over to the left. Just a putt, but unfortunately, after taking all those birdies, not really able to make anything else happen.
That was one of the sillier things I've done. I was really calm and collected, and then I went up in that tree because it was fun. I was able to help a buddy out, but my heart rate still has not come down from that level, so I'm really trying to take my time. Luckily, I have an easy tap in here, so just move on, but that was a bad decision. I need to get a stick or just not help out in that way, because there's been some birdieable holes that I've just not played great on. Luckily, I've still parred, so I'll probably be 3 down through the front 9. But I'm going to have to turn it on the back 9 to feel pretty good about a round today before I stay in contention, because these holes are gettable.
Tapping my par to finish 3 down on the front. I know that I probably want to get 4 or 5 more birdies and just no more bogeys, no more silly mistakes. Hole 10 is a 500-foot par 4, which is pretty uphill, but we have a decent wind. It's a touch of tailwind, so I throw my Halo G-Blend Emperor. Because it's 40 degrees, it actually feels pretty good. It's pretty sticky plastic, and it doesn't really skip or fade hard, so it went pretty straight. And I'm left only with about 50 feet to pitch up, which I'm really happy with. Easy birdie. But that might have given me some confidence with that disc that I maybe shouldn't have had, but don't hold on to that thought for later. It's definitely not that important. I throw an MV on hole 11. It's only 250 feet, and I thought it was a perfect shot, but the wind was kind of assisting, and I threw a little too nose down, so just out of bounds, but literally just a tap in. 3 steps plus a little bit because I got small feet, so it's not quite a meter at 3 steps. Tap in my par. Chilling at 4 down is not the end of the world. I know I have 7 holes to go. I can still put together a great round. 555-foot hole 12, and I throw my overstable-ish Emperor. It's my red one. I'm actually kind of surprised that this is the first time I whipped this disc out today. I probably could have thrown it other times, but overall I still don't feel like I'm having that bad of a round. It's just kind of slow and steady in that middle part, and I'm trying to heat it back up. I have a simple upshot here where I'm trying to decide between my overstable chicane and my straight chicane, and I go for my straight one, the forged. The same one that I fluffed the upshot on hole 1, and so I just know I need to commit a little better to the line. Unfortunately, just a little high.
Throw a good shot. Have some pace.
So it's pretty frustrating. I'm 2 shots in a row, and I'm pretty frustrated stepping up to this putt. I know I can just make that putt. It's easy, but I don't focus.
And that is how you compound mistakes. Made a good putt for my knees, but basically because I was praying. Wow, 2 shots with poor pace control. Need to throw them much shorter. And then that putt, I don't know, mate. This is a bad putt. It's not the end of the world. 6 holes to play. Lots of opportunities. Don't need to get overly aggressive. I just need to play good. Like, I can birdie every hole. All of these I could birdie, just didn't. On to the next.
So I was pretty like about a lot of this round, but I was able to calm myself down actually on hole 13 because we have a double mando that's pretty tight, and listen to all these good things about the 2025 Sphinx.
Yep. Oh, that yeah. Stunning.
That late flip was gorgeous.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, I'm going to need to pay everybody for that ad because they gave me a lot of good thoughts about the Sphinx that'll be coming out here relatively soon. I get into the perfect landing zone in the 700-foot par 4, and I have a pretty soft scepter. I was debating between like throwing my nocturnal, what's that mint disc that I have, Bobcat, my chicane. I decided to just throw a smooth scepter because it's pretty straight but overstable when you throw it slow. Ends up being a perfect shot, and I get a birdie. Then I'm like, oh, I threw that Sphinx pretty well. It's pretty straight. We just have a little bit of a left to right. Why not throw it directly out of bounds onto the train tracks? That probably sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I said that's the worst shot ever, and it kind of was. I left myself 330 feet out on this hole. I just can't believe I didn't throw something even slightly more overstable or a forehand, and I kind of make up for that here because I throw that same pretty straight but still a little overstable scepter and end up pinning it from about 330 feet, which I'm super stoked on because that's not typically a forehand distance for me.
All right, we're having fun. 4 to play. My battery on this is about to die. It was only like 55% charge to start, and I'm just stoked I got this much footage in, so hopefully I get some of these next 3. They're all par 4s that seem gettable, but I've said that about every hole so far. I'm 4 right now, so finish strong. Get 2 or 3 of these last ones, get to 6 or 7. Probably see a 1 in front of my rating, but I'm not stoked on the round, but can't be too mad. We're having fun out here. All right, we're back. I wasn't able to record. Camera died on a hole, but I ended up going par, another honestly pretty good par, and then bogey birdie to finish. So I was 4 down, 987 rated was what it was called. So I'm 8 back of the lead right now. 12 is what's taking it. And I feel like I wish I would have practiced this course. Playing this course blind was much harder than I anticipated because playing the holes that are combined, even though I've played both the holes, you play them combined and it's very different than what I would have thought. Also wasn't throwing the cleanest. I think double digits is gonna be necessary today to put a move on, but at the end of this video, I do also want to talk about my profit and loss for tournaments throughout the year. And you guys know I'm a little numbers money guy, which is kind of fun, so we'll talk about that as well, but gotta get warm. Okay, the body feels pretty good overall. I did go on UDisc stats. So here are the stats from yesterday's round, which were pretty interesting. So I didn't even realize, I was only 33% greens in regulation from circle 1. Pretty decent C1X putting, all right C2 putting. My putt felt good, just that one really bad mistake. And I didn't realize how bad my throwing had felt. I was really calm and collected for the first 5 holes yesterday, even with that bogey on 1. Then I just went through, and then after climbing that tree, my heart rate got up, and I just need to focus on playing good shots and not, unfortunately, climbing trees in the middle of my round and get my heart rate elevated. But today's a new day. I think it's just about staying cool, calm, and collected. That was the best that I've ever done that yesterday. I was really locked in for those 5 holes, just throwing every shot where I needed to. That being said, I'll keep warming up and a little extra focus and staying really calm, cool, and collected. So it's gonna be today, and I think I'm gonna shoot well. Hopefully we put ourselves in circle 1 a lot more, but it should be a good day today.
So round 2 is getting started. We've already talked about a lot of the holes. There's going to be some people in the way on a lot of hole 1. I just didn't set my card up in the best position. End up hitting an early tree.
A little more nervy than I expected on that stepping up. Just got a little hot pretty fast, so good tree. Probably didn't see it. Some people stepped in the way, which makes sense, right at the front. But you probably don't have that good of a look. But a 4 is great, so just give myself a way to pitch off for par.
And I have this patent pending, end up throwing it straight into a tree, and I have this step out forehand, end up throwing it straight into the ground, but not a terrible shot.
Really bad first, really bad second. Decent third. Let's have a great 4th and 5th.
Here's going to be that great 4th. Someone gets in the way, but it was absolutely awful. And it landed to be here, where I have a putt to try to get a 5 from about 100 feet. But for some reason, my putt was feeling good. I actually love that bit. If I don't hit that tree, I don't think it actually swings in, but it's still not a bad look.
All right, one thing feels good at least. It's the only thing on the hole that's felt it's actually at all decent.
And I'll tap in my 6. Wow.
6. Forehand was bad. Second shot was bad. Third shot, hard shot was bad. 4th shot, really bad. 5th shot, good. Good putt. So I'm 2 over through 1. 10 is still in the cards. 12 birdies out here, doable. But just gotta have a solid round. It's not like crazy. I just need to play decent. That's the goal.
So I'm not yet at the point where I'm like, oh, my round's over and I just need to get overly aggressive. But I remember this hole yesterday, and the wind's a little better today. It's a slight tail, a little left to right, and I decide I am good enough to kind of pipe this gap and get over this OB and get myself an eagle look. 540 feet. I throw my S1 Emperor, end up throwing it really solid just in front of this tree. Skips up to put me inside circle 2, probably about 60 feet for an eagle putt. Trying to erase that double bogey right now with a 1 putt. So go double eagle would be an incredible way to start and be even through 2, and then I just have the rest of the 16 holes to play. Stepper felt really good, just dropped a little and just missed it. Unfortunately, it left me still with about 15 to 20 feet, but I was able to kind of barely crack that over the line. This is the hole that we missed earlier. I'm just throwing my finish line sector straight down the middle, right over this basket. 520 feet. I just had an easy pitch up yesterday.
This hole I feel like a Robinson. Yeah, I just threw a mid-range putter yesterday. Straight. That's what I'm going to do today. I'm like, got to channel Robinsons.
I have an easier pitch up today. It's only 110 feet and a slightly less difficult line. But for some reason, I take out the range and do the worst, weirdest shot ever.
Oh, man.
So I left myself OB because that sidewalk plays as a river, and now I have a circle 2 putt for the par instead of a really easy birdie like I absolutely should have had. Banging off the band, and this comeback putt is quite the putt. Very frustrated, obviously, and I think with cause. That one barely stays, but now I'm 2 over through 3 on to hole 4, where there's a little more wind than yesterday. So instead of throwing the bobcat, I throw my cap wrap. I thought it was great, but it clipped that tree and left me to about 38 feet. Little tailwind, and this is something that I've had a problem with on my steppers for not actually hole 2. Hole 2 was a good stepper, but here I loaded onto my back leg instead of just doing my normal putt and stepping through it, which is not how I've been practicing making my steppers, but for some reason I did it a couple times in this tournament, and I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe just some nerves, but I'll have to work on that for the next one.
All right, I'm definitely starting to get agitated. 3 over through 4. This is, I can't even imagine how bad I'm playing right now. This is really awful feeling. And playing. I don't even know what it was. I mean, not a bad putt feeling, but wow. I mean, 3. I need to focus on the next shot, which is what I'm trying to do. Just playing bad. I don't know. Definitely getting slightly up in the heart rate. That was a super makeable putt. I think I focused too much on stepping it rather than aiming. Then I didn't have a makeable putt coming back. There was like not a window that was more than maybe a millimeter more than the disc. So. Was what it was. On to the next. This has been frustrating. Gotta keep the confidence up somehow. Can't believe this start.
So I'm trying to refine this confidence, end up throwing straight through this tree, which was out of bounds. Luckily, it's a slightly better shot shape than it was yesterday on the same hole that I kind of wrecked my shoes. Puts me in a perfect position, even though the shot was a little sketch. So I throw my mint disc bullet, pretty laser beam from 245 feet, pretty close to underneath the basket, and get back to being 2 over par for the round. This has been quite the round. So far, 0 pars. Put your guesses in the comments when the first par is going to come this round, if it does at all. 310 foot. Instead of early extending through my hips today, I end up throwing a solid shot. I did correct on yesterday, though, so I threw a scepter instead of a cap rep, but I think the cap rep's the better shot because I'm pretty long today.
One thing I've been very bad at for a while is not letting the current round influence how I'm thinking about the later round. Like, right now I'm like, oh, I guess this is just a bad round. No, this is hole 6. Like, there's a lot of round left. And otherwise, like yesterday, I was like, wow, this is such a good round. And I was like 4 down through 6 or 5 or something. And it's like, well, no, this is a good top of hole. I need to kind of work that on my system. Do this one a little long, make the putt. And it's just about having a complete round. I'm not great at that yet. Working on it.
I actually like a lot of the mental game work that I'm doing, and I feel like it's definitely worked. I hope that you're able to see that through this round. I do have a 38-footer here. The basket was a little leaning, so kind of in my head, but ended up throwing a pretty great shot. And today, now that I know actually how this hole looks, I'm debating of throwing that flex forehand, but that left tree that I hit yesterday with the bullet, I just don't want to have anything to do with it. And again, since I'm not really extending, I know I can throw down this gap again. And so I go ahead and throw my sector. I wanted a little extra distance than the putter. Just throw it on hyzer, know that it would stay pretty straight, and give myself some sort of look, which I end up having. And I'm debating what to throw. I have a straight disc like my bullet. I have my straight chicane, but instead I decided to go with my composite chicane. Pretty overstable because there is OB pretty close to those back dark pine trees. I basically just try to aim high on those trees, knowing that there's a lot of bailout room left. End up throwing a pretty perfect shot, and I'm able to capitalize on a birdie. Get back to even.
That doesn't feel confident, but I'm following through and it's going in, so that's what matters. Wow, back to even too. Nothing about score, but it's a good milestone.
Back to the hole where I made one of my worst decisions of the tournament, and I think I corrected today. I just decided to throw really hard on a scepter and just keep it wide of these trees, and it gets back to the right. But as you can see, the wind really started picking up right now, so I have a pretty decent left to right wind, and this is one of the positions that the cart, it just didn't set up the camera very well. That's my bad. End up missing it just right, and it actually rolls out to about 25 to 30 feet. There's a right to left wind, and I actually end up banging that putt dead center, but it spits out to 20 feet in a headwind, which I also make. So I feel like I made 2 putts on that hole, but only 1 counted.
Hey, confident. First one was bad, other 2 were good. We'll take it.
So now we're throwing my new 2025 Sphinx again. Down this right side though, instead of straight down the middle, because we have a tail right to left wind. I end up throwing just slightly low, and it doesn't really get a good skip because it's a pretty understable disc. But I'm about 45, 48 feet here with a right to left, just knowing I can aim low right side of the basket and it should carry me in. But the putt came out a little too much hyzer, and I just am able to clean up a par. First par of the day. If you guessed hole 9, you were right. Also, this is pretty baller. That's how my tournament went. It was pretty miserable. Hole 10, 500 feet. We have a pretty bad wind today. It's a head right to left, so I'm deciding to throw my overstable-ish Emperor again and just pulled it. I'm pretty disappointed in that shot, not because I don't think I can get up and down for birdie, because I have a pretty easy MB pitch up here, but more so because the shot didn't feel good, and I'm going to have to throw a lot of shots like that on the last 5 holes of this round, and if I want to start scoring again, I'm going to need that shot. Now I'm back to even par again on the round. Still no more pars. And I have a 250-foot shot with the right to left headwind. And instead of throwing a hyzer with my chicane, I decide that you should flex it at the left Mando tree. I don't know what I was thinking there, but it was really bad. So I have 50-foot putt for the par, but there's OB just behind the basket. So I throw a really high, lofty bid. I actually really like that bid. It gave it a chance, and it rolled back in bounds, which was a little lucky. A bogey again.
This is the most frustrating round. Just, I don't feel like I'm lacking focus. Just practice, I guess. Makes sense. Hey, all good though. All good.
Those may have been some cope all goods, but I really wanted to let out some aggression, and I'm once again, I noticed hole 10 and this hole, I'm a little bit early extending again. I wonder if I'm getting a little tired, and this is one of the worst mechanic upshots that I've thrown. I should have definitely aimed a little righter because that right tree is much more open to putt through. Here, I literally don't have a look, as you're able to see. But I try to make something happen and just like pitch one in there. I know I want to like basically birdie out in order to give myself a better round than yesterday. I know I can birdie all these holes, and luckily I'm able to just take a par here. But this is where I started to have some pretty solid holes yesterday. So I'm trying to correct here and then make sure hole 14 doesn't go like it did. I'm throwing my 2025 Sphinx again, the glow halo. And ends up being pretty perfect, just dead straight. I did want a touch more fade, but I'm not going to complain about that shot. It does leave me with a position where I'm debating going on an Anheuser with something that's really overstable because the basket is inside of that tree line. But then I saw, oh, if I just throw a really perfect hyzer with my forehand and something pretty straight, it'll be money. Straight to overstable. So I throw my scepter and end up doing exactly that and put myself, honestly, even closer than I did yesterday.
That tripped me up.
Yeah, there is like that one little.
That's like right where I aimed to, and I looked up and it's just swinging. I was like, what's going on?
So yeah, that was definitely weird. And we have 5 holes to go, and I'm back to even, so I still can shoot a better round than I shot yesterday. I just have to play pretty solid coming down the stretch. So instead of throwing at the train tracks, there's a similar left to right wind, and so I just throw my straight Emperor down the hill, knowing that if I never let it turn, it's not going to fade. It does get a skip off the path. It was a little flirting with the OB, but I get way down here on this par 4. I'm 210 feet in, and I throw a pretty lazy shot with my chicane. Luckily, I'm close enough that even though I didn't take my time with that upshot, I still am only 25 feet away. And the putts felt good, so really stoked to be able to get that birdie. Hole 15, 575 feet. You're finally going to be able to see these holes because now I have enough battery. I honestly didn't even anticipate recording this tournament, but I'm really glad I did. I was planning on just vlogging it, but I'll tell you about that later. I end up throwing a pretty perfect shot, exactly what I wanted to do, skipped in front of that tree.
Let's putt it that fast.
I think I might have one.
And I pretty much do have a putt. I'm only 100 feet out, threw a really solid shot, and this is the range has been pretty uncomfortable for me. So I kind of just fling a putt. Also, you can slow down and check my feet. That's a legal putt, don't worry. And I leave myself somehow 20 feet, which I'm able to convert in a little bit of wind. But that was a little scary. Hole 16, I'm throwing again that 20-25 Sphinx. I like how it's just a touch more overstable, and I love that shot.
Both days.
But I hit that same tree both days. The first day I got up to the next tee pad, wasn't able to get up and down and took a par. Here I'm 415 feet away. The basket is kind of through these really technical gaps and to the right. We have a head left to right, so I know if I throw my straightest S-Blend Emperor really perfect, I get a look. And I threw it maybe 2 feet too low.
It. Can't complain.
I did like it. It just ended up burning out instead of going OB, which is good. If it's a little higher, I think I actually skip back onto the grass.
That was my problem with all the upshots. I wasn't using the banana butt. What was I thinking?
That was the problem. Banana butt's important.
More banana butt goodies coming Wednesday. Keep your eye out.
So I take a par. The banana butt's back. It'll be coming out Wednesday on some other PA3s, some fractal ones, as well as a new mold, which I'm super pumped about. Hole 17, there's a left to right, and I thought I threw it perfect, but because the left to right was beating against the hyzer the whole time, it ends up really short. So I definitely needed to throw that flat.
Just a turnover.
I now have a turnover, and I'm actually going to throw last year's Sphinx. I have one of my first run ones, which is a little more understable since I have to throw just this patent pending, and I'm still probably about 360, 370 feet out.
Past the dead, all the way pin high.
Ended up throwing a pretty solid shot, but it's kind of jailed. There's not really a great look from here. I'm trying to find a good position, trying to work on all my flexibility and just give myself some sort of putt at the basket. Not bad, but easy.
That's a great shot. Easy par.
So, after being 3 over through 4 holes and just having a pretty terrible start, to be 2 down going into hole 18, I feel pretty good. We have a right to left wind. I just checked it, and my red, slightly overstable Emperor has been working for me on a lot of these type of shots. However, my slightly overstable Emperor is slightly less overstable than I thought. I actually thought I threw that absolutely perfect out of my hand to just be right in the middle and give myself a 450-foot upshot, but it stays OB, and I'm 540 feet away from the basket with 1 out of bounds stroke. Really frustrated.
That's good.
Yeah, you do.
You get 2 meters off this wall, luckily, and I very gracefully show you how to get 2 meters off the wall.
535.
I decided to take out my Halo G Blend Faro. It's 60 degrees today. It's a little warmer. And I've thrown some good shots with this disc. We got a tailwind, a little left to right. That disc is way flippier than I thought.
That thing is so flippy. Holy cow.
That disc is coming out of the bag. Spoiler.
Okay, that was flippier than I expected it to be. Trying to throw it really that hard.
I think up to this gravel, between you and the gravel.
Okay.
So I decided to ask if I should play a provisional because they thought that I got in bounds, but I was like, maybe I didn't, and I don't want to have to come back here and play it since we're already moving up the fairway. I'm 375 feet away. I'm calling provisional because I'm a little paranoid. I want to make sure that everyone hears it just in case I am in bounds up there. And so I'm throwing 5 if I do have 2 OBs. And I ended up throwing a really solid shot. This disc works on my forehand. This Emperor and me get along. And unfortunately, I was out of bounds. I stayed up. And so this 38-foot putt is for double bogey to go back to even par from 40 feet. Able to convert. The putt's been feeling good, but what a finish.
What'd you finish with?
6. Well, that's fun, man. Pretty embarrassing couple of rounds, unfortunately. Finished that one with a double.
I think I'm taking that Halo G Moonfair out of the bag. It felt all right yesterday, but in this heat, it's a little gummy, and I was like, oh, it's flippy, it's gonna go far, and I definitely thrown shots pretty close to the distance I needed, like 535. I've thrown those shots with the other disc in my bag that I threw for the forehand. I was like, oh, flippy, let me throw it out left, and then I just pulled it. So pretty disappointed in these rounds. I honestly expected much more of myself. Upshots were a big problem. Putting was fine. I missed 2 inside the circle. One of them was straight out spit out that put me to 25 feet headwind putt, which I made. So, and then I made 2 circle 2 putts that last one, and then one other one, I forget which one, but even par. It looks like I snuck into last cash, which I'm pretty happy about. So I should make like $72. I'll probably get my money back. Be slightly maybe slightly positive still for the year by like $1 or $2, not including like travel stuff. I would never have won. Like Joel's at 21 now, he's 9 through 16. Joe Revere's at 19, so they're playing pretty well. This round I was allergic to pars, man. I took 4 pars total. 4 pars total. Look at that thing. So 2 doubles, 4 bogeys, 2, 4, 6, 8 birdies. Wow, I just wasn't confident, I guess. I mean, 959 rated. This is not what I expected at all. I expected at least 1,000 rated round, probably both. I expected to play much better. And it's hard because it wasn't like expectations. It's just more like, man, I know that's me. This is like, these rounds felt so weird. But I'm glad I'm getting back into it. It's my first tournament of this year. I'm really disappointed in this one, not gonna lie. It's just what happens sometimes. That's disc golf. I know I can still put together some great rounds and great tournaments this year. Even next week, I guess I still feel like, yes, I can go and win next week, even though I'm playing against the same competition. The rounds and the scores are putting together. I don't feel like it's something I can't do. This was just some crappy days, unfortunately. And last cash, let's see, $75. That's what I'll get. I'll go on Sheets and do it now so we can end the video and I can drive home in sadness. Just kidding, like I said, I just know what I need to work on. I lost $2.23. I have this nice little thing here. I lost $2.23 on this event. So I'm positive $3.77 for the year still. Positive $3.77. Good news is I feel much less stress about playing pretty poorly this event because I have an event next week and then an event 2 weeks after and then a Pro Tour event after that and then another couple events and then a couple more Pro Tour. Like I'm playing so much this year that these rounds don't weigh as heavy, and I've played tournaments worse last year than the rating this year for this one, but it was what it was.
Okay, so I'm finishing editing this video, and luckily it's not all bad. I was super disappointed, and I still am disappointed in my play, but I have so much confidence still. It's Monday, it's the next day. Like I said earlier, I still feel like I can go into this weekend and win, and I noticed a couple things as I kind of kept thinking about this round and wondering, because it didn't feel like I was crazy off in a lot of ways. I haven't played a difficult course with my bag in a very long time, so I'm probably gonna have to start playing some super bad lands, some safari layouts. I've won 2 events this year already, both flex starts. I've played 5 one-round events. That's given me a lot of confidence, which I still have, but I was throwing so many similar discs, and now I've realized there are a couple discs in my bag that I just wasn't super confident with, and then upshots I really need to work on. This being the first kind of bigger event and 2-round event, I'm not taking too much from the poor play, to be honest with you. It was nice to get like a first real feeling tournament under my belt for this year, but more of these tournament videos to come, and I'm trying not to say expecting, but I feel like it's like an outflow of the work that I'm putting in, not necessarily like, oh, I'm expecting this of myself, because expectations can be hard as an athlete and a competitor, but I think I'm gonna get some wins this year. Hopefully even against some good fields. I just think it's gonna be a lot more time working with my bag. Still plenty of reviews coming, but just more off time, a little bit on form and a lot on work with the bag and confidence with the upshots. Because I did notice some really bad technique things with my upshots that I'll actually talk about in my vlogs that I'm doing. I started doing them. I finished one last week, which will be coming out later this week for patrons and members. I'm gonna be starting that up for just some bonus content, which will be weekly training vlogs, kind of everything I'm doing going really behind the scenes. But it's also just very helpful for me because it's just a video journal, because I'm such an external processor. That way I can think about things, talk about them. Anyone who wants to become a member or patron will get access to that, but it'll just be a way for me to document this journey so that hopefully in a couple years, when I am the player that I want to be, I'll be able to look back on all the things that I'm doing now that got me to that point. I kind of wish I was doing this more, but I actually really like how this last week came together. The stuff that I'm putting behind the paywall of Patreon and memberships is not anything that I'm taking from main channel content. It's just like completely new, all additional stuff if people want to support that way. Otherwise, everything that you guys are used to seeing, and hopefully more and better things, because I'm able to externally process my thoughts and work through them and synthesize them better. Hopefully that'll make the main channel videos better, and you're not gonna be getting any less. So be on the lookout for that. I'll announce when that goes live, and you'll see memberships be open for here as well as Patreon. I'm probably just gonna post it to both, whichever one you want to support with. It will be great, and that'll be money that pretty directly just goes towards touring, because I really feel like I'm much better than I displayed this weekend. Just didn't show it. Harder course, a lot of little technical par fours. Wasn't comfortable with my bag, wasn't confident with the shots that I haven't been forced to throw for a while, and it showed. If this video gets 1,000 likes, I'll put that video, I'll put like a how I do this on Banana Froth with this new camera. But I really like how it turns out, because it's so simple. I just have to flip one thing, and I've been rambling for plenty of time now. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you want. Pretty cool videos coming soon. The MVP new drop that came out will be coming out. I got some 3-disc battles to come as well, and I'll be practicing with the winner of this tournament. Congratulations to Joel Freeman. We're playing an event next week, and I have some discs that I want him to try out that are for some slots that he needs to fill, and we'll play a practice round for the event coming this weekend before hopefully I can take it down. He'll have something to say about that, but hopefully my play speaks louder. We'll see.